Dom shoots himself in the foot.
A brother's love is a brother's love.
And what do you get if you cross clothing with hair? Hello, welcome to Wrestle MSX. I'm Michael.
I'm Sally.
We begin with Jey, and after 9-ish minutes of It's Just Me Oos, we hear him say that he's had everyone in his ear. Jimmy, Roman, and everyone's mama, but he ain't bothered. CM Punk then makes his way out. Punk apes Jey, plays it back, and then says he's happy for Jey, that he's not listening to anyone. Punk knows Jey has what it takes, but wonders how far he's willing to go. Punk goes on that he needs to be champion and knows how far he'll go before once again asking Jey how far he'll go. Jey responds by telling Punk that he's painting him to be the bad guy before saying, "Screw you, just wait till Saturday night."
Backstage with the Judgment Day, and Dom's complaining about having to face the winner of Penta versus Rusev at Saturday night's main event. He asks the gang for help, but JD tells him he's on his own.
Up first then, a number one contenders match for the Intercontinental Championship between Penta and Rusev. Chop kick, sling blade, dive to the outside, followed by a springboard tornado DDT, which nets Penta a 2 count, with Rusev then escaping the ring and levelling Penta as he follows. The pair get back in, but Rusev suffers a backcracker and is covered for 2.
We head out again with Rusev flapjacking Penta into the ring steps as we hit a break, and come back to Rusev trying to remove Penta's mask. We see the corner headstand gut kick and multiple kicks to the head by Penta, but all to no avail as Penta flies into a matchka kick off the top rope and is covered for 2. A Penta driver then nets a 2 count for the luchador.
After a mid-ring slap-off, the match is disrupted by the Americanos, who clear the ring. Rusev comes back though, clearing out Bravo and Rayo before scaring El Grande into Penta, who sets up for the Penta driver, but Bravo saves his master by pulling him out the ring.
LA Knight is asked by Jackie Redmond where he goes from here. As usual, we get Knight not given a straight answer, and I think challenging whoever comes out the winner of Saturday night's main event.
He'd make a good politician, he would. Bron Breakker is complaining they should have been in the Battle Royal last week, but Heyman tells him to focus on Saturday night's main event and think about how beaten up the winner will be on next week's Raw. Heyman also points Breakker in the direction of taking out the other man who's after the world title, LA Knight, who Breakker just so happens to be facing later.
We take a look at a Decade of Asuka before we see Adam Pearce on the phone. He's interrupted by Finn Balor and JD McDonagh, who want a rematch for the tag titles. Pearce informs them that one of them must face Sheamus, with JD stepping up and vowing to rip his head off.
Alright, calm yourself. Next up, Nikki Bella versus Roxanne Perez. Raquel alongside. Bella has everything in control until Rodriguez drops her on the top rope from the apron while the ref was making sure Perez was okay, which then allows Perez to slingshot Nikki into the middle rope just as we break. We get the running uppercut and springboard moonsault followed by a cover for 2 by Perez as we come back.
Perez then targets Nikki's neck, with Bella then making a comeback, with the two then going down after a double hair pull face first to the mat from the pair. Bella picks up a 2 count after a kick from the middle rope, and another after a spine buster. Perez then gets a cheeky 2 count cover with the help of the ropes, but the ref spots it, with Nikki then going for a quick roll up, but again for 2.
Nikki then posts herself, with Perez taking an advantage and landing pop rocks finally. Perez then covers and gets the victory. After the match, Big Mommy Cool enters the ring to give Nikki a little more punishment, but Valkyria heads out for the save, with Raquel and Stephanie then squaring up to one another. Good to see that they're doing something more with Raquel than just being a bodyguard.
Yeah. Backstage we see Asuka telling Lyra it should be the Kabuki Warriors having a title match, with Bayley then appearing as they head off. The former hugger asks Lyra what that was all about before telling her to forget about them and that the tag team titles mean a lot to her. We then see Jimmy telling/shouting at Jey, saying he saved him twice last week in the Battle Royal. Jimmy then said it should have been the two of them at the end, suggesting that if Jey really believed in himself, he wouldn't have been scared to find out.
Up next, Bron Breakker out with Reed and Heyman to face LA Knight. It's a bit standard to begin with until Breakker runs the ropes and clotheslines Knight, with Knight then landing a crossbody and covering for 2. Knight lands a few knees to Breakker, with Breakker then escaping the ring and Knight following. We hit a break, come back and see Bron toss Knight over the top rope, go out after him, land a running shoulder and then cover for 2 once back in the ring.
Knight comes back with a jumping neckbreaker, power slam and jumping elbow, but a knee soon slows him down. Breakker looks for the Frankensteiner, but Knight escapes it and knocks Bron from the ropes, which seems to rock him for a moment.
Accidentally, but yeah, it took him a while.
We then get a superplex and cover for 2 from Knight. Reed then distracts Knight, but Knight avoids the in-rushing Breakker, who posts himself and ends up outside the ring.
Knight rocks Breakker's head on the announcer's desk multiple times before the pair head back into the ring, with Knight landing an inverted DDT and looking for a top rope elbow. Bron kips up with Knight jumping over him and then lands a spear. The dog then covers and picks up the win.
Backstage we see Adam Pearce looking for Dirty Dom when he spots him speaking with Los Americanos. The coffee's dessert, with Dom saying how crazy it was that they intervened in the match earlier.
Just crazy.
Adding that Penta and Rusev will now go after them. Pearce has bad news though, as Dom will be defending his Intercontinental title in a triple threat match at Saturday night's main event against...
Yeah, I think I could have called this. I think I could have seen this coming. I don't think it's going to be just a one-on-one. It was...
Yeah, when I heard that they were going to be fair, I'm like, that's odd.
Yeah, anyway, we also see Jimmy and Jey seemingly letting bygones be bygones and hugging it out.
Next up, JD against Sheamus, with Balor at ringside. JD is pretty much ragdolled to begin with, getting in what offense he can until he's set for the 10 beats. Balor saves his fellow Judgment Day member, only for Sheamus to leap from the apron as we hit a break. We come back to Sheamus in a sleeper, who manages to get out of it by taking himself and JD over the top rope. JD then lands a springboard moonsault before the pair get back in the ring, with McDonagh landing a 450 splash and covering for 2.
JD then starts kicking and hitting Sheamus, who shrugs them off and drops McDonagh with clotheslines, a backbreaker and 10 beats of the Bowery. Sheamus tries to finish JD off with a high cross, but upon covering him, Balor puts JD's leg on the rope. Sheamus then goes after Balor, with JD diving out for the save. Sheamus regroups, takes out JD, throws him back in the ring and then climbs to the top turnbuckle.
As he does, the ref checks on McDonagh, which allows an unseen Balor to then hit Sheamus with a shillelagh. McDonagh takes advantage, hits a Spanish fly from the top rope and covers Sheamus for the 1, 2, 3.
I was not interested in this match at all. It was just a hard watch. I'm not bothered about any of them 3. Anyway, backstage we see Adam Pearce telling Maxxine Dupri that she can have a title match against Becky Lynch, but Dupri says she's not quite ready and needs to call a friend. Pearce tells her to call him when she's ready. I wonder who this friend is. Interesting.
We then see Jackie Redmond with the Women's Tag Team Champions and asks why they accepted the challenge. Bliss says they never back down from a challenge, with the pair then interrupted by the Kabuki Warriors, or should I say Asuka. Asuka says they should be in the title match, with Flair saying they'd be honoured to face them.
We then see Adam Pearce make a tag team title match for next week. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee will defend against Balor and McDonagh.
So, last match of the night, Lyra Valkyria and Bayley versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Nothing to write home about in the early exchanges, as Bliss deals with Bayley before Flair and Lyra come in, with Lyra sending Flair to the outside as we break. We get a cover for 2 by Lyra on Bliss, with Bayley then scoring a 2 off Bliss after a double team.
Bliss then lands a double DDT and tags in Flair, who lands a double crossbody before chopping both her opponents. The 72-time champ then lands a moonsault to both Bayley and Valkyria before covering Lyra for 2. Flair then boots Bayley from the apron, which flips her switch and calls for the tag. Lyra tags out, with Bayley then going berserk, kneeing and dropping an elbow from the middle rope to Flair, drop kicking Bliss from the apron, and then hitting Bayley to belly on Flair and covering for 2.
Bliss and Lyra then tag themselves in, but Lyra is unaware and leg drops Flair from the top turnbuckle before bouncing off the rope to attack Flair again. Only she's intercepted by Bliss, who puts her straight into her sister Abigail. She lands it and covers, but Bayley makes a save on 2. Flair then comes in and takes out Bayley, with Bliss going up top and landing a crossbody to Valkyria.
Only Valkyria catches Bliss, gets her on her shoulders and lands Nightwing. Flair makes the save on 2. Bliss's outfit got caught in Lyra's hair during the Nightwing, so Bliss had to release that part of her gear, allowing Lyra to roll out the ring with it still attached to her hair. Lyra had a clothing situation at this year's Royal Rumble as well, I think.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Anyway, Flair and Bayley come back in legally and go at it, hammer and tongs, with Flair then locking in the figure 8. Bayley's about to tap when Lyra catches her hand and stops her, with Bliss then landing Twisted Bliss to Lyra. We then get a double natural selection, with Flair then covering Bayley for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, of course, the Kabuki Warriors come out and beat up the champs, plus Lyra, which we said would happen on last week's SmackDown review.
I think we did, didn't we? So if you want the scoop, just watch us. The Warriors look to attack Lyra again, but Bayley stares them down. Raw goes off the air with the Warriors celebrating their mini win and Bayley looking over Lyra. Yeah, it was just setting up for Saturday night's main event, really. It was some of the matches were a bit... No, not really. What I didn't mention in this was there was 2 little clips just like as they went into an advert. One was somebody wearing boots and walking along a floor. You just saw the camera pan onto these boots, and then nothing. And then there was another bit later on where there was a poker chip spinning around, and it stopped and it just said 2026. Which is obviously next year. WrestleMania is in Vegas again next year, I believe.
Yes.
But we already know that, so why would you...
Maybe it's someone coming back at Mania?
I mean, when I saw the boots, the black boots and the jeans, I did think Brock Lesnar.
No, I need that.
Because that was kind of what he wears in it. He's past the shorts and the... with the black shorts, he's more jeans now, but it's not, so maybe, good shot, I didn't think of that. But coming back at Mania. Because he's penciled in for Rumble, isn't he? Apparently. Anyway, enough chit chat. If you want to add to that, please do. Now for Michael's moment of the night. This could be a match, a line, a look, a promo, something funny, interesting, quirky, different, just something that catches my eye. Obviously, it has to wait until the end because if I do it halfway through and it's something that happens at the end, it's kind of a spoiler. So Michael's moment of the night is Bliss's clothing getting stuck in Lyra's hair and the look of panic on her Lyra's face. It was funny. If you don't think so, you have no sense of humour. And thank goodness it did happen because I was struggling to find something that was worth mentioning tonight. It was it was a bit bland. But it was just funny. They were still in the middle of the ring like the hair stuck and they couldn't do anything. Now, if you wish to disagree,
agree, or have any other thoughts or views that you'd like to share with us, then please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out our Musings video with thoughts and opinions of the last week of WWE. A new one drops every Wednesday.
Thank you again for watching.
And we will see you Wednesday for a look at this past week in WWE. Thursday for Saturday night's main event predictions.
Always fun.
Saturday for SmackDown. And Sunday for a review of Saturday night's main event.